Hello, guys. My name is Diego Krieger. I'm a board certified internal medicine. I work as a hospitalist. I did medical school in Argentina. I was able to match in residency in LA. I was there. I have been working for 4 or 5 years. Basically, I was able to build a real estate portfolio of, right now I have $1.5, $1.6 million in equity. Just in equity. I was able to leverage physician's loan, doctor's loan, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to teach you for free. how I did it. You gotta be patient, you gotta pay attention, you gotta be humble. I'm gonna teach you for free how I did it. This is not a financial advice because I can't give you a financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor, because it's just like a financial advisor is like a freaking, it's a scam. I hold dozens of Bitcoin. I will figure out the way how I'm going to show you my portfolio without disclosing my addresses because there's security reasons, of course. But yeah, it's going to be a learning process. Okay. Why decide to make this? I'm going to make 5 episodes on YouTube. And then those 5 episodes are going to be the fundamentals for you to understand how to create generational wealth, make money, and be free. By free, what I mean by free is not living paycheck to paycheck. That's what you do. You literally live paycheck to paycheck, because I talk to people and I go to different hospital physicians lounge. Everybody live to paycheck, and you can't even, should I buy a house or rent? You can't even buy a house. Physicians used to be at 1% of the entire population. Now we're the middle class, living paycheck to paycheck. That's what it motivates me to do this episodes, to be honest. If you're a kiddo and you want to learn and you want to help yourself first, and then I will help you, right? So be humble enough, write down concepts, quotes, because quotes live for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. And there's a reason, because there's a meaning, a powerful meaning of things, right? So I became a multimillionaire. I've been in business for 4 or 5 years, right? And then I'm going to teach you why. Because I was able to understand basic concepts. If you're born in this country and then you don't make it, what a shame, right? Different if you're a fucking Pakistani or come from India or South America, Argentina, right? Different case, but still, I don't know why immigrants sometimes are more successful than like real Americans, right? So I'm going to give you this presentation. The next episode after this, it's going to be about real estate doctors of physician's loan, how I was able to leverage, how I was able to build equity, what is the tax advantages, right, of having real estate, and then what is the good thing about debt, because debt is actually good in this financial system, right, because debt gets liquidated with inflation. But also, guess what? Inflation will liquidate your 401k. Inflation will liquidate your stocks, all your assets, bonds, equities, everything. Let me see. Why physicians so broke? Physicians are broke because the 401k is a communist equalizer. Pay attention of the things that I'm going to tell you, okay? So 401k is the communist equalizer. 900,000 physicians in the entire nation. 900,000. 850 engage in direct patient care. I literally like provide direct patient care. 280,000 physicians are primary care physicians, close to 30%. Why? Why do we have 30% primary care physicians? I mean, why so many? I can create 5 YouTube videos, then teach you how to live a good life, be healthy, and be responsible. Because health is your right. You have responsibility because you have a right. So you can be, it's your responsibility to be healthy, right? God gave you the right to choose what do you want to eat, how do you want to live your life. It's called free will. You want to live poor or you want to be rich? You want to be wealthy, you want to have a good family, you want to give something to your daughter, to your son, build a family, right? You got to be sovereign. You got to like build your own life, right? Anyway, 66% are US grads, 26% are IMGs. I'm personally an international medical graduate. Actually, I have a good friend who has a nonprofit, and then he's able to help so many international medical graduates. And I think international medical graduates are good. They fill the gaps, and then we do what we can, and then it's needed. And then we have 8% DOs. DOs. Who is DO? I don't even know. I never met one. I don't know them. I don't know what they do. I don't know if there's any different. Who knows? On average, a physician makes 360, 400, 500. 1 year, the first year that I started working, I did $820,000 in 1 year. I work every night for a year and a half. I was working nights. I was able to make, but that's not good quality of life. That's something that you're going to do forever. Okay. If we multiply 900,000 physicians at $300,000, $400,000 annually, that's an equivalent of $326 billion annually. Every physician contribute like 8, 7, 10% monthly, $3,000 a month. They funnel the money to a 401k. That's a total of 30, 40,000 a year. If you multiply the 900,000 by the 30,000 a year that they funnel, it's a total of 27, 30 billion dollars that they get funneled into the stock market. All that energy that you're able to collect, all that purchasing power that you're able to collect, you just give it away every year. Actually, when I was in Milan, I met this asset manager in a nice restaurant in Milan, and he was drinking martinis. Then we start talking about, he was a New Yorker. We're talking about the Chinese stock market, how tiny it is, how insignificant it is, that nobody cares about the Chinese stock market. We're talking about Apple, what a great company. The Apple has almost the size of the entire Chinese stock market. Then I don't know how we end up talking about the net asset value of Apple, which he didn't even know was the real net asset value of Apple. And he's an asset manager. That's the guy who runs your 401k. I mean, you think about it. You wake up every morning. You immigrate from freaking India, Pakistan, South America, Argentina, Brazil, Mexico. You took all the risks. You came from another border. You took 300% of the risk. Now you're coming to the States. You're finally making some money. You graduate, you pass the boards, and now every money that you make, you give it to that guy. He doesn't even know what the real net asset value of Apple. He's in Milan drinking martinis. And then you You are crossing the red lights every morning to make it on time and clock in. Work for money when the government print it for free. And then on top of that, you give it to this guy so he can drink martinis in Milan, right? So that's where we at. That's why physicians, they live paycheck to paycheck. There's no purchasing power. We used to be a 1% of the population, the 1 top percent of the entire population, and then now we are the middle class. We can't even buy a house. We don't have money for a decent wedding. We live paycheck to paycheck because that's what I listen every day. Historically, a 401k makes 7, 8, 5, 6%, 3, 4%. How about the fees? 1.5 up to 3% in fee. So if you understand central banking system, how they print money, how with money they destroy your life, because they don't need bullets and tank. They just need paper money to destroy your life. If you do a little bit, if you're humble enough and you do a little bit of research, what happened with the pensions and then that 401k, similar 401k that the French used to have and the Germans, actually the Argentinians used to have like a similar type of socialized government 401k. And I'm telling you this because I lived this. My family used to be wealthy in Patagonia, Argentina. They used to be wealthy farmers, and they got wrecked, liquidated by this mechanism of pensions and 401k and these promises that they will take care of you. Hiding fees. Pay attention to all the fees that you're gonna be paying. Right? I don't want to get into this rant, but the next episode is going to be about real estate, how I make my real estate portfolio, how I was able to leverage all the physicians or doctors' loan, how I built $1.5 million in equity only, how I hold probably $2.5 million in real estate. Oh no, but my friend, he's a urologist, and then he told me that he only used 1 or 2. Dude, shut up. Who is your friend? He's a urologist. What he knows? That he has an eager desire to build wealth, to fight for his family, that he has the eager desire inside. Was he born like me in poverty from Patagonia? I have the eager desire to build wealth because that's what I decided when I was a kid, right? I'm going to teach you. Be humble enough. Listen, take notes. Every quote, every sentence, write it down. Follow me on YouTube. Drop a comment. Follow me on YouTube and drop a comment. And then follow me on Twitter. I'm going to show you my Twitter account. Follow Run to Riches. Follow me, drop a comment. Tell me exactly what are the things that you want to learn. I will teach you. Okay? If you have any questions, I will teach you for free. Okay? So let's plan in a scenario for 401k. So you put like 30,000, 37,000, whatever, 30,000 with the return before fees of 7% annually, which is wow, what a good year, right? And at 20 years, this is calculating just at 1.5% of paying fees only. If you are able to accumulate $1 million, $300,000 are going to be liquidated in fee. That's why that guy, the New Yorker, is in Milan drinking martinis while you work every day, sacrificing your life, putting all the risks on the table. Because if you lose your license, if you get a DUI, you're gone. Don't ever send a prescription to your girlfriend because she's going to stab you in the back, right? don't, later on, I will create another video teaching like recent grads and then residents, because I did so many mistakes when I was a resident that I'm willing to teach you for free. So imagine losing from $1 million. What are you going to do anyway with $1 million in 20 years? Nothing. And then you're getting liquidated 30%, 300,000. So you gotta think about how this 401k illusion works. When you give them $1 million and then your 401k growth in 30 years, 20 years to $2 million. Think about it. What are you gonna do with $2 million in 30 years? Oh, I'm telling you, with $2 million. In 30 years, with $2 million, what are you going to be able to afford? It just replace your central AC. That's going to be the cost of a central air conditioning, $2 million. And you're going to have to use your credit card to pay the installation. Real estate has been doubling it before, right? Every 20 years. Lately has been doubling it every 5 years. If you purchase a property for $500,000, in 5 years, it's gonna double. Because the government doesn't print pipes, air conditioning, doesn't print walls, doesn't print houses, it prints money. And you gotta understand that the money, it's flowing the streets like not ever before. The lending mechanism are gonna expand. And you gotta be able to use the tools, right? You gotta play the game. You gotta do what the government does. Because debt in an inflationary world is a mechanism to survive. But if you own assets, the inflation eats your assets, eats your stock, eats your 401k. It's going to eat your equity. It's going to eat your kids' dreams. It's going to eat your life. But also inflation eats your debt. Inflation eats your debt. Write it down, because that's important. Write it down. Because money of the future is always cheaper. Write it down. Money of the future is always cheaper. You don't get it right now. You don't get it right now. You will understand in the future. I will teach you for free. Just follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram, on Twitter. And then I will teach you for free. 401k fake news. You get a tax break now. You don't get a tax break. You're never going to get a tax break. You get a tax defer. Historically, if you read what happened with the Brazilians, what happened with the Germans, right? Countries along the years, they tend to increase their taxes because that's the only way to squeeze the middle class. You have to squeeze them through taxation and then inflation. So there's two ways that they destroy you. They tax you and then they inflate the currency. So they can tax you. Like they destroy your purchasing power and then they tax you. So you have to pay your taxes on whatever money you have in your 401k. And probably the tax brackets are going to be wider, right? Your money grows at tax defer. You're trading growth for liquidity. There's nothing more healthy. There's nothing more sovereign. There's nothing more powerful. There's nothing that is going to increase your testosterone more than anything else than being liquid. I have a multi-million dollar liquidity. If I find a good deal, if I feel like I got to pull a loan against my assets to purchase something, because I never assets. When sellers of assets are always losers, buyers are always winners. Sellers are always losers. Buyers are always winners. Write it down. because you don't need to sell your assets ever again. You need to acquire your assets, but never sell them, because there's a way to do it. Whoever owns the most assets is a winner. On top of that, do you have a daughter? Do you have a kid? Do you have a son? Don't you want a better future for your daughter? You can't even afford a house today. How's your daughter's gonna afford a house? You're bringing your daughter, your son, to this planet, and he's gonna probably be homeless or renting forever. Don't you wanna have a kid, and then by the time that they're 18 or by the time that you die, you can give them a family trust with a multi-million-dollar portfolio, or give them 10 Bitcoins to each one and die like a legend? Don't you want that? So you came from freaking Pakistan, Africa, Argentina, and then you think that you made it because you're a physician. But dude, no, life is just starting, you know? You're gonna realize that we'll screw. We gotta figure it out. I'm here to help you for free. Imagine. Employers offer matching. That's free money. The matching, it's not something that you should care. What you should care is about the vesting schedule. There's many of the programs, they offer nice matching and everything. What really matters is how you're gonna be vested, when you're gonna have ownership of that percentage, right? For example, many of the vesting schedules are 2 years and forward, right? If you quit your job before this 2 years that you have been of your agreement, whatever, you're never gonna be vested, right? Because the vesting schedules are every 2 years, right? Or it may be that the first year they're gonna vest 30%, and then the second year they're gonna give you the rest, right? So the vesting is what really matters. If it's safer and diversify, safer from who? That's the whole point, right? So you're giving all your money to this guy who's drinking martinis in Milan, who doesn't even know what the net asset value of Apple is. He's living from your portfolio. You give him, you're working and collecting all that energy, and then you give him it away, right? For him, like, he's gonna be allocating in this ghost companies, fake companies, stock market, because probably in the stock market, probably 75% of the companies are fake. They don't make any profit. They live from 401ks. Is the best way to retire comfortable. Comfortable at what age? What do you want to do? You're going to be 60 years old. You're going to be walking with a cane. Actually, I saw people in the physician's lounge walking with a cane. What you need to be is sovereign. You want a financial freedom. You want purchasing power. You want to execute. Bonus knockout. If a 401k is so great, why people who create it? Why they don't invest? Why this Wall Street people don't invest in their 401k? Why politicians don't put money in the 401k? Follow me on Twitter. Round to Riches. I'm going to give you 2 videos. I want you to write it down.
America's best 401ks. You are a board member at America's best 401ks. And you've specifically looked into the fees that people pay at 401ks and the fact that most people don't even know that they pay a fee.
This is the most amazing thing. It's a $4.4 trillion industry that for 30 years, they didn't have to tell you what they were charging you. Only 3 years ago, the Department of Labor changed the rules and said, you got to tell people what you charge them. So now they do that by giving you a 35 or 50-page disclosure document that if you have a PhD in finance, maybe you can figure out the hidden fees. So here's what you have to know. most people, 58% of the people don't even think there are any fees. I did 3 core messages for your viewer. 1, fees matter and you're paying them. A 1% in fee, because of the compounding over time, costs you 10 years of retirement income. The average person thinks they're paying less than 1% or nothing, and they're paying 3.1%. That's 30 years of fees. So I'll give you an example. If you have a 35-year-old person, they have $100,000 and they put it in the market and they let it compound for 30 years till they're going to retire, and they're paying 1% in fees, they have $761,000, which is nice growth from that time. But if you paid 3% in fees for the same stocks, you have $432,000. So in other words, you have 76% more money if you have less fees, or on the other view, you have 19 years less income.
Wow. Go to Run to Riches and Runs to Riches and on Twitter, on X. Follow me, and then I'm gonna be dropping this specific clips, and then I'm gonna try to teach you as much as possible.
Invest in a system where you put up 100% of the capital, you're the mutual fund shareholder. You take 100% of the risk, and you get 30% of the return.
I wanted to know how others would react to Bogle's claims. JP Morgan Chase offers more than 100 mutual funds that charge anywhere from less than half of 1% to more than 2.5% annually.
I want to get your reaction to an example that Jack Bogle gave us, and that is that if you invest over a 50-year investing lifetime in a mutual fund, making 7% a year on average, but you're paying 2% in fee for that 2% will erode something like 2/3 of your gains.
So the lower fees relative to any given investment will always result in higher accumulation.
But is his example correct? I mean, it's shocking that you would be giving up 2/3 of.
So I don't know the math behind the example.
But does it sound correct?
It sounds high.
Best.
This is the same guy, right? It's the same concept. It's the guy that I met in Milan. He's an asset manager. He has no idea about you. He doesn't care about your family. He doesn't care about your wealth. He doesn't care about anything. It's the 401k Ponzi scheme that it causes erosion of your wealth. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube. And then I hope that you have a wonderful weekend.